Learning another language literally means becoming a whole other person.
Soy jamaicana que habla español, así que por supuesto personas van a pensar que soy dominicana.
So yeah, I'm speaking from experience. I hear purpose calling, stop procrastinate to learn a language. Welcome to my new channel. I'm Nas, and you already learned one thing about me, that I cannot sing to save my life. But another thing about me is that I love language learning. So far just Spanish, but I do hope to evolve that into a long list of languages. I'm just kidding. I don't want to be like a polyglot, but I do hope to learn more languages in the future, and I want to start documenting that a little bit more seriously and sharing with you guys how I've gotten to where I am and how I'm getting to where I still want to go in my language learning journey. So hereby I present this channel. For today, I want to talk about how 2024 is literally gonna change it can change the game for us as language learners if we study smarter and not harder. And there are 5 ways I want to share with you guys. ChatGPT has literally been changing the game for everyone like this, and in the world of language learning, there's so much we can literally milk out of this text-based tool to achieve our goals effectively in any language, easily, in a much smarter way. And there are a lot of ways I plan to use it this year because I have been sleeping on it. But this year, I want to use it primarily as a conversation tool. I don't know if you language learners have tried it in this way. I think there are a lot of ways you can use it for. You can literally do like practice exercises with it. You could do like a role play, have it create a conversation with 2 people in your target language, and then you can see how much you understand or learn from that. Or like I said, be a conversation partner for ChatGPT and have a conversation in your target language, have it correct you, learn idiomatic expressions. There's so much you can milk out of it, and I don't know, if you've been sleeping on it like I have been, then this is a really cool way and fun because it's crazy that this AI can like do this, but I think it's a really cool way for you to learn languages this year. You guys need to leverage the free apps you already have at your disposal. Are you aware that you're watching me on YouTube right now? Like quite literally, if you want a bachelor's degree in how to, the YouTube University is here to offer you its services, because if you want to know how to do anything, this is the place to be, quite literally. So I think, and I'll be doing a video on this coming up very soon on how you can actually specific ways to use YouTube to leverage it to learn languages. There's some common ways and some not so common ways, which if you're interested, hit the thumbs up button so I can know if this is actually an interesting video topic for you. And then of course you'd have to subscribe so you can see the video, because there are a lot of ways, free ways, that you can learn languages or at least get somewhere in the language. YouTube, Duolingo, which personally I only recommend Duolingo to like beginners. I don't think it can get you much further than that, but it's really critical as a beginner to try out different things at your disposal. There is so much. There's an app called Language Transfer, which a lot of y'all have been sleeping on this one. Language Transfer is an amazing app where it really allows you to consume the language. It's a very, almost like a podcast way of teaching you too, where the guy doing it actually encourages you not to take notes, but just to listen and consume. I think he says you can close your eyes or whatever, and there are even parts of it where he'll like ask a question and like go mute to allow you to answer. So it's out, like, you know, when you're watching Dora and she's like, what was your favorite part? And then you're supposed to answer, but like obviously she can't hear you.
We had such a great soccer day today. What was your favorite part of the trip? I like that too.
The same kind of strategy, which I think is really cool, and he will go through some of the very simple ways that you probably didn't even think of, like ways to create several words in Spanish with one simple rule. And I mean, I'm using Spanish, but several languages are available on this app. And guys, like, there's so much you can do and leverage. Stop thinking it's hard, just make it easier on yourself. Textbooks on learning a foreign language will not get you where you want to go in the long run. You need to leverage native speakers. Now I know I mentioned that ChatGPT can be a substitute for this, but like I said, it can carry you so much and no further. You definitely, there are apps to do this as well. There are like several persons around the world just like you looking for a native to practice with, and I would advise that you find native speakers in your target language who are learning your native language, so that you can bring something to the table and they bring something to the table. That way you guys can get you're like the perfect language partners with that, because you're teaching them, they're teaching you. It's an amazing exchange. I used to have like a lot of pen pals on different apps. What I would do is I would speak to them in Spanish and they would respond to me in English, and we go back and forth like that. That way we can correct each other. But also at times we'll have like solely English conversations or solely Spanish conversations, so that I can learn from them their sentence structures, new vocabulary, idiomatic expressions, their colloquial expressions. It's a beautiful thing. Who better to learn than from native speakers themselves? Like, there's so much you can learn. You learn like real street everyday Spanish from these people, not textbooks. I'm sorry, but textbooks are great. They have their time, they have their place, but really learning language in context and so forth, you need at least one pen pal in your target language. Having your phone in your target language is an amazing way to learn, but I know you've heard this one before, so I want to take it a step further to encourage you to also, in addition to that, follow influencers on the different social media platforms that you use in your target language. So if you're learning Spanish, for example, find some Hispanic influencers on Instagram. You know how many new vocabulary and expressions I've learned just from scrolling on Instagram and I read the captions, but I just think it's best to follow them. I'm not saying everyone you follow should be influencers, but at least mix it up, you know what I mean? That way, even when you're doing something you enjoy, like scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, you're also ingesting the language in a fun way. And for this, I would recommend that you don't just go follow any influencer. Follow influencers who are actually creating content that you enjoy, so you're enjoying the content and you're learning the language at the same time. It's like the perfect win-win situation. Practice using a dictionary that's actually in your target language. So not like a Spanish to English dictionary, but a Spanish dictionary, for example, if Spanish is the language you're learning. Of course, there'll come a time when the translator apps are useful, like SpanishDict.com, I think, and especially if you want to practice and train your brain to think in that foreign language, then you're gonna have to be strategic about how you ingest it. I think that we were wrongly taught we learned the language as its English translation almost. I feel like sometimes when I'm thinking of like Spanish words, I don't think of it as what the thing is, of what the word means in and of itself. I'm thinking of it as its English translation. You need to train yourself to think of tree as a tree, like what a tree is. So you're thinking of the word and you're saying the word and you're thinking of how that thing looks at the same time. You know what I mean? Not me thinking, oh, el árbol, and then I'm thinking, oh, it's tree in English, but I should think el árbol and I'm thinking of that thing in nature and I'm connecting the visual imagery to the word as opposed to the word to the English translation, because that makes it harder for you to speak fluently, because you're going to be translating in your head as you speak instead of thinking in that target language as you speak. Now, there is so much more to unpack when it comes to language learning. So if this is an interest that you want to explore or a passion that you're already actively exploring, then I invite you to subscribe to my new channel, Nas Speaks. If you came from my main channel, Nas Ellis, I'm so happy you're here to join me on this journey as well. I'll be sharing tips, tricks, resources, and my road to fluency in the different languages that I choose to venturing. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Cheers to a year of learning languages in an easier way, in a smarter way, in a more fun way.